So I've had this question a lot recently. What exactly goes into a paint correction? And I thought it'd be a great video for me to show you guys, bring you along in a full paint correction process. Now this is going to be a shortened down video. I'm going to do it only on this single panel here on this beautiful Audi RS7, showing you before and after results and walking you through all the steps, what you're gaining paying for this whole process, maybe before you ceramic coat your car, because this really makes a huge difference on the aesthetics of your vehicle. So welcome back to another out of spec detailing video. Let's jump into it. I thought this car would be a great example because this one has been a challenge to say the least. So this is a really good client of mine's brand new Audi RS7, brand new to him. So that's important to note. So paint corrections are not only for new cars, but especially used vehicles. A vehicle like this has definitely not been taken care of what I would like to see. In all honesty, this car looks like it has only lived its life going through a tunnel wash with the touch, the big scrubby brushes on there, and have absolutely scoured this paint. It may look good on camera, but once you pull this thing outside, or I bring my scan grips out, this thing is covered in swirl marks, covered in water spots. It is just, this has kind of been a nightmare project, if you will. So I'm going to show you guys what exactly goes along in this process. Now, new vehicles hopefully and shouldn't need as much of this paint correction. Now, typically there will be some sanding marks, some rub marks. It's not as crazy extensive as something like this Audi RS7, where we are taking out heavy defects. So really want to drive that point home. This is not only for new cars and it's not only for used cars, but you can take a vehicle like this, do the full paint correction on it, ceramic coat it, and this thing feels brand new from the outside. So let's jump into it. I'm going to shut the lights down now and show you the current state of this particular Audi RS7. Excellent. So we've got the lights down now, and basically, for your guys' knowledge, what these do, these are called scan grip lights. What they're able to allow me to do is see the defects in the paint and properly remove them. Now, I get a lot of comments of, well, if you can only see the scratches with a flashlight, what the heck's the purpose of this? Now, these are meant to emulate the sun. So if you take this vehicle outside, you look into the sun, you're gonna see all these defects in here. And I'm gonna show you this because this thing has a ton. So first off, let's just start here on the pillar, and you can already see, look at all of these scratches here. So that's the kind of work we're removing. This really doles the vehicle out. So you can tell we've got not only deep scratches on this one, but somebody has come in here with a rotary and very much kind of attacked this paint. Let's keep moving on here. So down here, you can see quite a bit of rotary marks. So what I want you guys to see is when you're looking at defects in a vehicle, you should see that single light source there. Around it, there should be nothing, just crystal clear paint. But here you can see these kind of wispy areas to the left and right of it. That is a rotary mark. Now, if I zoom in a little bit, above, below, everywhere here, those are a lot deeper scratches, big defects. And that is the whole premise of what we're doing here with a paint correction, going in, removing all of those. Now here I've got, look at all of those scratches. You can see in that top light source there, really heavy scratches. And again, lots of that wispy looking marks in the paint. That is all from the rotary polisher. So what I use here at Clear Detailing is something called a dual action polisher. For you nerds, basically that means with a rotary, it spins only one way, whereas a dual action polisher oscillates up and down. It's got different throws based on your machine, but these are the machines that I use back here, and I'm going to show you through this whole process. But basically, biggest deal, trying to remove all of these defects. Look down here on this rear quarter panel. I mean, the defects are so heavy. And this is exactly what happens when you take your car through a brush car wash. So if you're watching this video considering, hey, my paint is looking like this, I really want to get a paint correction. If you are going to continue to take your car through a brush car wash, this is not the service for you. You need to figure out a better way to wash and maintain your vehicle, because I can remove all these defects and then you take it through the brush and it's going to do the same exact thing. So make sure that your washing technique is spot on when you're getting your car paint corrected. A big thing to take consideration of. Let me just show you this deck lid back here, how this spoiler looks. Again, just this thing is absolutely littered in rotary marks, huge heavy scratches. See if we can see some here on the taillight. Yep, definitely just a ton of scratches going on here. So what I want to do here, I don't want to make this video super long. I just want to show you guys what I'm removing, what I'm doing during this paint correction process. I'm going to put a piece of tape down here. I'm going to leave this as our before side on this rear quarter and our after side. Now I'm only going to be showing you today the first stage of paint correction. So it's a two-stage process. We have our cutting stage, which is using abrasive compounds, which is basically this gel liquid that has grit in it to remove the defects. So when you are doing paint correction, you are taking microscopic layers of paint off. So that's something to consider. You cannot get scratches like this and continually buff your car every single year. You will run out of paint eventually. So that's something else to consider, is who you're having doing your actual paint correction, because you can get into some serious trouble. Burning edges, going through the actual clear coat becomes a nightmare. Now, what I do here at Clear Detailing is I've got paint meters. You can actually see it down here. And if you've watched one of my build quality videos, that's why I'm so curious to take readings on the paint, see if there's enough paint to even polish on. Because what I've seen in the past, like a vehicle like a brand new Lucid Air came in to do this whole process and there was not enough paint. So I had to say, I'm sorry, I can't do it. There's not enough paint here and I'm gonna blow through the paint. So really make sure whoever is doing a paint correction for you has the proper tools, the proper knowledge. I've been doing this almost 10 years now and have really specialized in doing paint corrections and ceramic coatings. So before I keep going on, let's get this taped up. I'm gonna show you my whole process going through this and a nice before and after. So this is one of the machines that I use to polish or compound and paint correct the vehicle. We've also over here got a smaller machine using a 3-inch pad. This is the one for bigger panels and bigger areas. So I use a variety of different tools. My preferred tool is a Rupes polisher. Now, during this stage, again, what we're trying to do is remove those defects. This particular car has been nothing but a headache. So we have extremely hard paint on this Audi. Typically, I haven't seen paint this hard in a long time. So it's taking a lot of compounding. Now, during the paint correction stage, if you guys are booking a detail through here, they will get a 2-stage correction. So basically, you go through here getting the big defects out. And what typically happens, because we're using an abrasive compound, is it will leave marring in the paint. Now this particular paint is so hard that it leaves little to no marring, but something on like a Model S Plaid that has the Tesla non-metallic black paint, this stage would just scour the paint. It leaves it hazy, but we're removing those defects. So that's why paint correction is really tricky, because some vehicles have hard paint, some are right in between, and some are ultra buttery soft to where, you know, they cut really quickly, remove all those big defects, but then it's a pain in the butt to really polish out all of the marring done from these pads. So let's look on here. So we have 5.84 mils and 5.5 here. So that's plenty of paint for me to work with. Typically new vehicles are between 4 to 6 mils. When they start getting into low 3s is when I really start getting panicked and go, okay, we may need to back off on the compounding stage, or in the case like I mentioned before with the Lucid, I physically wasn't even able to polish on the vehicle because there was little to no paint on there. So really important, whoever you're having do this, use these paint meters. So let me just jump in here. I'm gonna get this little section knocked out and you can see actually how long this process takes. So I'm going to wipe this area off here now because I want to see how we did. This is a critical step. You know, you can give somebody a buffer, they can go a couple passes on each section. What I'm doing is looking here, making sure we got all the defects out. What I'm actually seeing is I was not able to because this paint is so hard and the defects are so big and deep. So what I have to do again is reapply compound, go back in, do a second buffing cycle on this, and it should get most of that out. Now this car we're going for about a 95% paint correction, so I'm not trying to get every last single deep scratch because the more you chase those deep scratches, the less paint you have. So it's always something to consider. When you're doing this, you are removing that paint. So just be mindful of that. But I'm gonna throw you guys on a time lapse. I'm gonna knock this panel out, show you a nice before and after. Well, I hope you guys can truly appreciate the amount of time I spend as a detailer sitting here paint correcting cars. I mean, I do this 12, 14 hours a day. It is a ton of work, but the results speak for themselves. You know, I'm going to a different degree than a quick buff and wax type shop. You know, this is very intensive, but the results speak for themselves. So let's just jump in here and see how we did. So again, I want you to keep your eye on this light source here. And as we move across this tape, you're gonna notice all those scratches, haze, rotary marks are all gone. Now, I hope it picks up on camera. This side is so much yellower than over here where we've actually already buffed. There's oxidation in this. This paint had little to no protection on it. I don't think it even had any sort of wax. So definitely turning colors here. It's just vibrant white now. So keep an eye on this and bam, over here, look at the results. I've got my handheld light. It's come back across. It is just night and day difference. Now you may see on camera here, there are a few deep scratches and that's intended. If I chase every last scratch, we're gonna have no paint on this car. So I have to make that detailer's dilemma, as I often wrestle with, of when do you stop? When do you call it quits? Because nothing worse than spending this amount of time on a car and then having to repaint a panel because you went too deep on a scratch. So that's why I say it's so important who is sticking a buffer on your car. You know, this is not something that I would play around with. And honestly, if you're a DIY guy, I've seen a lot of bad work happen when you try and do this yourself. My personal opinion, leave it to the professionals. So again, let's look up here and look at the results. I mean, it is just insane. That crystal clear glacier white Audi paint over here after that correction. Truly stunning how you can get white paint to look like this. Let me zoom in here so you guys can even get a little bit more involved. So look at right around that middle light source there, how many water spots there are everywhere. And again, all the scratches. As we pop over here, just amazing crystal clear paint. Now let me show you an area where I see this top one here. I struggled with that and I left that scratch alone. That one is too deep for me to go after. Could I get it out? Yeah, of course. But we're not gonna have a ton of paint there. So knowing when to call it quits, so very important. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. You know, I get this question a lot. What is paint correction? Well, you just saw it. I think it is just an insanely good process if you're having the right people do it. If you're in the Colorado area, highly recommend you bring your car here to Clear Detailing. All my info is down below. This is what I specialize in and what I've been doing for 10 plus years now. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, comments, leave them down below. And yeah, really happy with the results here on this Audi RS7. We'll see you in another video very soon. Thanks for joining us on another out of spec detailing video. Bye-bye.